We're back. Let's go ahead and crack them, buddy. Cheers, buddy. Welcome. It's week 9 of cracking a cold one. And as your fearless host, as always, Yaxi and Degs. We just wrapped up our NBA episode. How do you feel about that?
I think it went well. I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing it. Full 30-minute episode. Just talking about Sixers, NBA outlook.
Yeah. A lot of good things there. If you're not an NBA fan, definitely check it out because it's something that, may pique your interest. You may get interested to, take a look at the season based off of what we've talked about. And if you are an NBA fan, check it out. Let us know what you think because we want to know. We want to know your guys' thoughts. So send us messages, DMs. If you have our phone numbers, text us. Anything. But we are here today to talk about the NFL. Currently with Michigan and Penn State right now in the background with Michigan up 14-9.
Third and goal.
I got Nasser freaking texting me, and I'm like, let me not answer your text messages for the rest of this game.
Yeah, he's a Michigan.
He's a Michigan fan. I don't understand some of the people that I'm friends with that are either a Michigan fan or come on, guys.
Okay. 4th and goal.
All right. But yeah, I have some random friends that are like, oh yeah, I'm Ohio State fan. I hate Penn State. I don't have many friends that are like big Penn State fans. So, but whatever. It's gonna be a great week. We got my. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Not only did my birds go ahead and just bust down the Cowboys. Obviously, at the end there was a little bit of a gotta hold your breath for a second, but
yeah,
it is what it is. That's what happens when you're a Philly fan. They like to go ahead and mess with your anxiety and your heart rate and make you check into the hospital right after the games.
Philly way.
Yeah, Philly way. But not only am I happy that they beat them, I'm really happy that they're on a bye. We need this right now. We need the bye. We need some people to get healthy. And we need some help from we need some people to get up to speed with the playbook. Julio Jones and Byard to go ahead and be able to play a little bit better.
Great time.
I mean, Julio's doing good. I'm not putting any criticism on Julio, but I mean, he has a freaking touchdown for Christ's sake. So, man.
Yeah, he's not meant to come in and do anything.
Yeah, he's not meant to do anything much.
To compliment the other two.
Yep. So, but we are going to be needing him now with Goddard out. So
it's going to be. It's nice that part of it's on a bye, so it's really just 3 games without him. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sucks. But you guys will be fine. You got plenty of weapons.
Agreed. So yeah. Actually, I just noticed I said week 9. We're in week 10.
Episode 9.
Episode 9.
Week
10. We're not doing any like that episodes no more. We're just gonna go week by week. So we are week 10. Sorry guys, we're not week 9. Week 10. Week 10. So please don't turn off this episode. You thought that we were on week 9. No, but yeah. So week 10. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So you go ahead and get us started off with our season-long record right now.
Yeah, season-long record. I made a couple bold picks last week that didn't go my way. You won the week 10-3 to my 7-6, so you actually made more ground up. You're 74-38 for the year, so very good record. 65-47 for me, so a 9-game lead for you. Yeah, I got a long road ahead. I'm gonna end up catching you, but
I gotta figure out which ones that I'm beating you on, so then I can put this as bets moving forward. Because geez, like none of my bets have been doing well. Sorry guys, I'm trying to help not only myself, but trying to help y'all out too.
We'll get there.
Y'all my people.
Yeah, maybe that's the formula. Yeah, that's the formula. See the picks that you didn't like that I picked. And make those bets.
Actually, before we dive into this week, so I want to go ahead and do our norm and shout out a business.
Yeah,
And I know today that we had Jake on our mind
yeah,
with his business. So you want to go ahead and talk about our boy Jake Nahara and his clothing line?
yeah. No privacy. No privacy is a clothing line that he has put a lot of work into for years now.
Yeah.
But definitely like great direction right now. I actually met him in the hoodie. I have a hoodie that he has that says "Happy to be here." I just love the message. He's really just attacking kind of like mental health.
Yep.
That's just being free and part of his proceeds go towards that.
Yep.
He's been doing like
That was one of the things I was gonna say. Mention.
little raffles or draw-ins, if you will, of people that put in orders. He gives them um money towards a service if they need it. So I love what he's doing. I love the message. Think we love a lot. He's a creative person, and this is just a great thing that he's doing, and love the clothes. Great brand. He has a creative mind. So check out his clothing brand. I'll pull up his Instagram so they can check that out
I
as
wasn't
well.
sure. Does he even have the Instagram still open? I know he does drops.
Let
So
me see.
so he does like drops randomly. Yeah, he does.
Yep. So
Perfect. Yep.
he does have
Perfect.
the no privacy studios is
Perfect.
the Instagram. So please go check it out. You can get to his website. The link is in the
Yeah.
bio. Check out our boy Lorenzo there modeling something out there. So I know the next drop's coming very soon here.
I'm excited.
Um,
I was upset I wasn't able to get that happy to be here hoodie.
I'll
Very, very big supportive
I'll wear it
support.
next episode so
Yeah.
everyone can get a look at it. It's beautiful. It's a great material. It's a nice little blue color. With the fall season coming up, it's perfect attire.
Yeah. Yeah, I big supporter of him, and also just love the fact that he's pouring back into the mental health community. We've been best friends with Jake for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Have seen my man go through the ups and downs and whatnot, and he's definitely prevailed and been able to continue to carry himself through whatever ish comes his way. So um extremely appreciative of him as well, because he supports us with everything that we do and all of our creative ventures. And yeah, so let's cheers. This is a cheers
100%.
to you,
Cheers to you,
Jake.
Jake. Appreciate it, bud.
Another one I want to shout out is Ronnie. Our boy Ronnie. He's gonna be on the episode one of these weeks. We have that one planned coming up, so it's gonna be exciting. But um, Ronnie won his flag football league for the 5th year in a row. I don't know if that means that. Actually, hold on. Give you the claps. We'll give you the claps. But Ronnie, I don't know if that means that these people are the old cripples that you're playing,
White.
or if you're just actually that good.
You white out?
He is a wideout.
Little baby flowers on him?
He does his thing. He does his thing. Nah, I can't lie. I've been out there. I've seen him play. The boys that he plays against,
They
it's
get after it.
they get after
Yeah,
it.
that's
They get
awesome.
active, and like I told you, I have that picture of him where he mossed somebody and just like looks down at him, like does the Allen Iverson look down, like step over Ty Lue type of thing.
Little boy.
Yeah. Hey, yo, boy, get out here. So very, very happy for you, boy. When I see you again one of these weeks, I know you and my cousin Tati are just celebrities and are always busy. But one of these weekends we'll be getting together soon. But yeah. So um so yeah, let's go ahead and let's dive in to week 10. First game of the week, we got good old Colts versus Patriots. In Germany too.
Germany,
Like
9:30. Tune in early.
first
Where you gotta set your lineups.
first Germany game, right?
No, yet last week was a Germany game too.
Last week, but I'm saying it was like the first. I should say first year for Germany, right? I think this is the first year for Germany.
I feel like they did one last year, but I can't remember.
Okay,
I feel like there was
I'll
maybe.
have to look into that. But um, Germany game, yeah. I mean, this is one also with those two. Not much really that I have.
Not very
Um,
excited. No, I'm not looking. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily be. A
tuning
lot of
into that one.
times, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of a little bit of a weirdo. I try to get up, be ready for the 9:30 game, even if I go to the gym before, then have some breakfast with. I love breakfast in football.
Oh yeah.
I think it's an amazing combo,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, this one I'm not sure if I'm definitely gonna watch some of it, but I don't know if I'll be uh, dying to see it.
So I'm a guy that I prefer. I mean, when it's something like this, when it's a game like this, I'm just like, I'd rather watch three games. I love those three games. Like,
Yeah,
with all those guys on there, they're good shows.
I'm a little nerd, you know me. I
Yeah,
just like to go on there.
yeah. I have the Colts in this one. I think the Colts take down the Pats. Pats, I just don't think they have it this year. They have some. I would say that with their team, there are some good spots. You have Matthew Judon, which is arguably like one of the.
He's out though.
I know he's out,
Oh,
but
but yeah,
to saying like with what they have
pillars
on
in
their team,
place. Yep,
yeah.
I agree. I
Um,
agree. Gonzalez.
so they're
Yeah.
they're they're a team that have some players. It's just obviously they have some injuries right now that are happening. I also think that Bill Belichick, man, you just took way too long to go ahead and get off of that Mac Jones train. I mean, I think right now he's essentially off of it, although Mac is still essentially.
It's the hard spot where you take this guy in the first round and you want to give him time.
I think it's more of the GM that is like holding him like to say, hey, you got to play him because we're paying him this much, and it's just like, whoa,
I th- I
he's not doing us any
I'm
good.
not saying no one could have came in there and been successful, but I think that there's two things that have held. And I don't think Mac Jones is good. Don't
No,
don't
Mac
don't.
Jones is not good.
But if there was someone else, whoever, maybe like in that draft, Fields or Lance, if someone dropped there, I, I don't know if they would have been successful for the sole fact that they're the successor to Brady. That's hard shoes to fill with Belichick. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
But they just haven't given any of these the quarterback really much talent to throw the ball the last so many years. I mean, they tried the two tight end set with Henry
what
and
do they got?
Johnu.
Kendrick Bourne right now,
It's Bourne,
and he's
Devontae
out right now
Parker.
too.
He's out for the year. Devontae Parker signing, which he's been up and down, and
Hmm.
I just think that and Juju, like I think they try to do like these like low budget band aids that just like they need to get an alpha receiver over there, number one.
Agreed.
Obviously they need a quarterback. And then like the offensive line's a little suspect too. That used to be their bread and butter. Brady.
Hmm.
I'll get back to that. So
I agree. I
not
agree.
much. I'll start. I have the Colts as well. Some of the Nuggets I'll throw out there. Right for New England. Stevenson had his best game of the year by far. He did have only one big rip, so like didn't much after that. But 9 for 87 and a touchdown, 4 catches, 42 yards. I think the guy to talk about is Demario Douglas. He looks like a nice little guy going forward for whoever's going to be quarterback there.
Hmm.
But the guys running the majority of routes are Douglas, Henry, and Gesicki, which Gesicki was catchless and he ran 80% of routes. That's pretty terrible. And on the Colts side, so their defense went off last week. 2 touchdowns in the
JT's
house.
taking over and Pittman's doing his thing.
JT's finally made we've been waiting 76% of snaps, 75% of routes. That's going to be the theme going forward. Pittman did his thing. You called it, 64 yards. I think that's on neutral territory, especially. Colts get it done.
Yeah, agreed. Next week we got New Orleans, or not next week. Next game we have is New Orleans at Minnesota. Uh, with New Orleans, Taysom Hill was one that I told you already last week. Like he pisses me off. Like just he's getting paid so much money, and they just continue to throw him out there, and essentially he screws up
Fantasy.
fantasy or
Yeah.
bets. And I'm not trying to sound all cynical and oh yeah, he has a job that he has to do and he has to pay for it. Well, whatever. He's an NFL player. I'm sure he has enough money that he can pay for all of his bills. So Taysom Hill, I'm over the whole Taysom Hill experiment. I am praying that someday that team goes ahead and moves on and they actually look like a real NFL team and have, you know, consistent consistent players that are in there. Um, Minnesota, I mean, Dobbs is one that came in last week and
Gotta give him respect.
gotta give him the respect, man. He was out there doing the whole cadence stuff on the sideline with players in the middle of when the injury went down, and he's just sitting there like talking to guys like this is how I do things. This is how I do things, and then I'm hearing that they were in the huddle and that the receivers are telling him like this is how we run or this is what's gonna happen essentially, right? And gosh, like something that just blew my eye.
Mm.
Um, he just comes out there and he does what he does, and wins the game. Uh, they have a decent team. I want to say that with this game that Minnesota wins it because of Josh Dobbs, but
New Orleans takes it.
why do I feel like I'm turning into Degs? Oh,
Ooh.
sorry about that, guys.
You on the bandwagon?
Turning into Degs right now
The
with
wagon.
with the Saints. I think the Saints win this one, unfortunately.
So I actually finally have decided to go against the Saints after 10 weeks. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings this week. So let's touch on the Saints first. I
I'm
love my
blessed.
Saints.
I'm blessed.
Taysom Hill had a nice little day for himself, as you have, voiced your frustration. He had 4 catches, 13 yards, and a tutty. And then he had 11 rushes for 52 yards. So a nice little day for him. I will say he ran the least amount of routes he's run as a recent 36%. And that's because Juwan Johnson's back in the mix, who did have a touchdown as well. Olave, 8 targets, 6 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown. He continues to have some droppage issues. So he dropped another one that could have been a bit, changed his fantasy guide a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Michael Thomas, as we talked about before this, he is having the worst week that anyone could possibly have. He went catchless in this game, and then I just saw the report last night, he got arrested for like throwing a brick at a car or something. It was like construction workers like parking on the street, something crazy like that.
Such an idiot.
So terrible week for him. I'll say also on another note, so Kamara, right? So he's seen his routes dip more and more. Jamal Williams was up to 43% of snaps to Kamara's 48%. So they're close. So that's something to think about. It's more of a timeshare going forward. Then with Minnesota, right? They started with Jaron Hall, a rookie, popped out very early, concussion. In comes Dobbs after just getting traded on Tuesday
Yeah.
prior to the game. Crazy stuff. You touched on a lot of that crazy, in the huddle and all that. Very impressive win. I have to give him credit, and I think that he gained the locker room already from that, right?
Yep.
If there was any speculation, he's the guy. I mean, he's the guy. Um, I think that Hawk had a nice little day for himself. 12 targets, 7 catches, 69 yards. Addison continued to do all right. 7 targets, 5 catches, 52 yards himself. The running game, right? So Akers ruptured his Achilles again. Rough go for him. That's twice now in like the
I'm
last 3
sorry.
years.
I'm sorry. I just laughed.
I think his NFL
I don't
career
mean to
could,
laugh.
could be in doubt now. So
Yeah.
Ty Chandler's the handcuff now next to Mattinson. Not sure how that will be divvied up going forward. Mattinson did have a receiving touchdown in this one.
Yeah.
Still continues to look not very efficient. But I think that they're home. I think they're going to ride they're like 4 or 5-0. 4-0 I think since Jefferson's been out. I think they
Mhm.
ride it. whether he plays or not, and win this.
I like it. I like it. Unfortunately, I'm taking New Orleans, so I'm gonna look
I
like
don't
the
blame
clown
you.
probably. We'll see. All right, let's move on. Houston at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Very excited for this game. I love C.J. Stroud, and I hate to say that because of the fact that he's an Ohio Stater, but oh well. He doesn't play for the Cowboys, so he's good. He's good in my book. Um, C.J. Stroud. Let's talk about it. Had himself in a magnificent game, career game last week.
Oh yeah.
Over 400 yards passing.
Yeah.
Um, literally lit up fantasy for me. And I remember Will was like, "Really? C.J. Stroud's gonna have the best career game of his life against me." Um, yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna be a great game overall. I think a lot of people think that it's gonna be a blowout. There are some holes that Cincinnati has. Cincinnati has Jamar and they have Mixon. And they obviously have Boyd, but they don't have they don't have Higgins. You know,
He's out this week.
losing Higgins is big. I think that's going to be huge.
Yep.
Um, their defense, is their defense. I don't think that their defense is as good as they have been in the past.
Something special. Yeah, they lost some key guys.
And that's where this becomes a closer game than a lot of people think.
Right.
I honestly think that at the end of the day, that Cincinnati does win because of just their experience. I'll say that if Nico was playing, I think that there would be a very well argument that Houston could go ahead and put up a lot of points on Cincinnati to go ahead and beat them.
Right.
But I think Houston traveling to Cincinnati, once again, like Houston being just they're inexperienced right now. It's gonna take them time, of course. I think that this is their first year. We're excited to see what they do. But I think that at the end of the day, I think that Cincinnati goes home and ends up, pulling out the dub in this one.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this. I had Cincinnati originally, and then I saw that Higgins was out, and then I saw that Chase might be out too. It's very, very possible he's questionable.
Okay.
So,
So do I have time to go ahead and change my prediction because I'm like sitting here looking up things and I'm like, wait, I don't see anything about Chase.
I'm leaning towards him either not playing or being much more of a decoy. He has a back injury, which isn't good for being a receiver. So Houston, right? You called it game of the life, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, 71% completion percentage. I mean, just a star. Collins had a great game too, 4 yards and a touchdown. So that's a big loss too. But they had a lot of other help, right? Noah Brown, 6 targets, 6 catches, 153 yards and a touchdown. He was a big waiver ad. I'm a little skeptical, but I mean, hey, I mean, 6 for 6, 153. I mean, that's a solid game. So with Collins out, he could be another big target, I think. Tank Dell continues to show that he's legit.
Tank Dell was
Six
amazing.
catches. He
Yep.
had 11 targets, 6 catches, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he could have another big game this week. And then Dalton Schultz, man, he looked phenomenal. 11 targets.
I'm changing to Houston. Sorry guys. I'm changing to Houston. I'm not going with Cincinnati. I'm changing to Houston. Whatever. If they win, if Cincinnati wins, who cares? Who cares?
Okay.
Book it.
Yeah,
Houston
130
covers.
yards and a touchdown for Schultz, though. So I'm just saying, even though Collins is out, I think they have more there than if Chase and Higgins are out. I mean, Boyd's a good receiver, but then they're looking with Irwin. They have to deal with Irv Smith. So I just I like Texans in that regard. Now that the run game still hasn't gotten going, even with Pierce out, the O line I just think is not a good O line for run.
Yeah.
And then Burrow had a good game too last week, over 300 yards. Higgins was the man there, right? 110 yards on 8 catches. More of a modest game for Chase, and I think it was because he was banged up, and because Higgins just got hurt in practice, he pulled his hammy or something, of course. Mixon didn't have a great game either. He did have a touchdown, but still very inefficient. He's been very disappointing because he has such great usage, doing nothing with it. I just think they get bottled up even at home. I know they're hot, but I think there's just not enough there this week to beat the Houston high-powered offense.
Yeah. And if we are wrong, then you guys have every right to go ahead and laugh at us. All right. I'm actually very excited because of Tank Dell. And I'm like thinking to myself, like,
Yeah.
looking at my bets, I should have already stuck
I
with
have him in
boosting
my
because
one
of.
league. Thank you to Scott for dropping him. Appreciate it.
All right, so next game is a divisional game.
It is.
Cleveland at Baltimore. Big game, huge game. I'm very excited for this game. It's gonna be cold tomorrow.
It's gonna be a
It's gonna be 40. It's
little
gonna be
dogfight.
it's gonna be like 49 degrees. They said a high of 49. Probably gonna be more like a 45-degree day tomorrow. Um, it's gonna be cold. Now, I think that the Baltimore Ravens. I'll give you guys my pick. I think the Baltimore Ravens win this one. I think, because last time I was looking at this, Mark Andrews had two touchdowns on Cleveland. Last time
Last game.
that they faced each other,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Um, I think Cleveland has a good defense, but when it comes down to these like divisional games, all of those like stats almost go out of the door, right? The reason why I say that, when the Eagles faced the Redskins, me and myself and Irene were all thinking, oh, they're gonna go ahead and
Blow past them.
they're gonna blow them out.
Yeah.
Ended up being a closer game.
Yeah.
So
Different game. Divisional.
yeah,
More personal.
very much different game when it's a divisional game. Last time Baltimore went into Cleveland, if everybody remembers, that's when Roquan Smith went ahead and said, we're gonna go into the dog pound because we feel like we're dogs and this is our home. So, and they actually blew the
They blow 'em
Cleveland
up.
Browns out. They blew
Yeah.
them 24-3. So they're home. They're solidifying themselves as a team that can contend for the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of predictions saying that there's going to be a Baltimore Philly Super Bowl this year. I told one of my friends, I said, if that's the case, they better have the Philly and Baltimore police out there all strapped up, ready to tackle people, because those are the most ruthless cops out there. But yeah, so you know, when it comes down to that game, I have Baltimore beating Cleveland. I think Cleveland has, like I said, a good defense, but I think that when it comes to these type of games, that all goes out the window. Baltimore knows how to beat them. Um, yeah, I think Mark Andrews has himself another game. Just because of the fact that those their receivers. I love Zay, but I just think that they hold him a little bit this game.
Yeah. So on the Cleveland side, they had a great game last week versus the Cardinals. 27-zip. Took advantage of the third stringer. Watson had himself a solid game, coming back into the action. He was hitting Cooper was his main target, 5 targets, 5 catches, 139 yards, and a touchdown. Elijah Moore has been one of the more disappointing guys in fantasy, I think. He hunted usage, 85% of routes in this one again. He led him last week. Just not getting the ball.
Yeah.
Just nothing. Njoku found the end zone. Jerome Ford, his role has looked really good. Last week, 64% of snaps, 61% of routes run. I'll touch more on him on the fantasy segment. Someone I like a lot. Hunt is clearly the number 2. Pierre Strong didn't have any playing time now. He did find the end zone. Now, like you said, they're going to play in a hostile environment. The weather's going to play a role.
Yep.
Not only that, their 3 of their 5 starting offensive linemen will miss this game. The Ravens lead the league in sacks right now with 34-35. I don't remember the exact number. It's one of those. Ravens just put a beat down on the Seahawks, 37-3. 75 plays ran, most in the NFL that week. All 3 running backs had a solid day. Mitchell went over 138 yards and a touchdown. Gus Edwards had another 2-touchdown game. It's crazy because they played the least amount of snaps, but Hill did the least amount of work, played 61% of snaps. So that doesn't make too much sense. I can't figure that backfield out completely, but they went off last week. And like you said, Andrews had a nice day, 10 targets, 9 catches, 80 yards. Flowers was held only 1 catch last week. So it's interesting. I could see him having another little down week. Odell finally kind of came alive here. I think that they keep rolling. I think that the defense really gets to Watson this week, and the offense, takes advantage of the defense being on there too much.
I like that. I was trying to find the stats for the sacks. For some reason, they have all the stats for everything, but not for tackles.
Oh, that's weird.
So I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's 35 sacks this year.
Okay.
They have, yeah, leading the NFL.
Word. No, I mean I like it. I like it. It's one of those games too where it's just always a good. It's always a good one to watch.
Oh yeah,
Just to
it's a dogfight. No pun intended.
yeah. Next game we have here on the list we have is Green Bay at Pittsburgh. What's the update right now, really quick on this
17-9, 12:21 left in the fourth, and they are getting ready to punt it 4th and 13. So they need to stop here. And,
no, I think Michigan just punted it.
They just 3rd and 13. Didn't get it. Threw it out of bounds.
Come on, guys.
Green Bay at Pittsburgh.
Green Bay at Pittsburgh.
I think it's a hard watch.
I think it's a hard watch, mainly because of a number of factors. So another key factor, a few key factors I would say is Jordan Love has essentially come back down to earth. He's not a reliable quarterback to start in fantasy or even to have starting. I think is your quarterback for your team. He's a good. I would think he would be a good quarterback as a backup. But he's not. I think one that can.
I don't think he's
can
that
run a
guy.
team.
No,
Yeah,
you're not that guy, pal.
I
You're
don't
not that
think.
guy.
Kenny Pickett. There are some things with him that I'm still questioning because one of the things that I saw last week was that C.J. Stroud already has more career touchdowns than Kenny Pickett does.
Yes, that is true.
Which is ridiculous. Somebody that has been in the league a lot longer than obviously Stroud. He has 2 years over him, and isn't improving in the way that we want him to improve, or in the way that we thought that he was going to improve. Pittsburgh continues to be saved by their defense. Okay. Green Bay continues to rely on Aaron Jones and why am I blanking on AJ Dillon? Because obviously they can't rely on their receivers. Dobbs isn't doing anything really. I mean, although Dobbs is actually probably him and Christian Watson. I mean, Christian Watson. I just think that I think Christian Watson is talented. Very much. They're both talented. I would say. It's just that they don't have a quarterback that knows how to.
It's a combination of them being young and and the quarterback not being consistent. No.
Right. With this game, I think Pittsburgh wins once again because of their defense. They inch one out because of their defense. They get to. I think they get some turnovers. I think that there's at least like 2 picks that Jordan Love throws, unfortunately, and I think he just gets tossed around by TJ a lot. So Pittsburgh, book it.
So on the Green Bay side, they finally got a win after a little bit of a drought there, 20-3. Call by you. Aaron Jones had the reins pulled from him finally. They let him loose, 24 touches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. So that's going to be a recipe for them to do well.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know you would.
I needed that for fantasy. Damn it.
He looked much better. He looked healthy.
Goodness.
AJ Dillon's a secondary role, but I still think he's blah.
I dropped him.
Musgrave, he found the end zone. You talking at Dubes?
Gosh, I love the striped. Sorry, guys. We have the game on. I just love the striped in the stadium. That stadium's huge.
Dubes, Watson, and Musgrave are the big three, running 80% of routes.
Yeah.
I just think we're in inconsistent football team, and we'll probably see that this week.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. So I'm sorry to my Steelers fans. My
Your
brother
family.
Anthony. Anthony
Your
listens
family.
religiously, so appreciate you, Anthony. But I have a rant. I know I'm biased because I'm a Titans fan, but they got lucky on that win. Uh, they are a hard brand of football to watch right now.
Yeah.
Pickett hasn't looked good. I want to believe in him, but I'm losing faith a little bit here. I don't know if he's the guy anymore. You know, I when you look at someone like Levis, right? Like if you put him on that team with that talent, he excel. He's gonna excel, or Stroud, or some of these young guys. I just don't understand. Even because the offensive line, that's not an excuse because Stroud and Levis have two of the worst offensive lines in the league.
Mm-hmm.
These fans, and they're 5-3, so like, okay, I get you're grinding out wins. I'll give you that, but like, they want to give him all these flowers for making 3 or 4 throws in the fourth quarter to just win the game. And yeah, okay, a win's a win, but like, in regards to him being a franchise quarterback, that's not enough. So
To your point, the, the, there were more positives said about the Titans after the loss against the Steelers than there were about the Steelers winning the game against the Titans. And that is,
it was a game of defense, and theirs pretty much just came out on top,
yeah,
basically.
that's about it.
And
I think everybody expected the defense to go ahead and like help them out.
a win's a win, and I give him that. But like you said it best to me. You go, if I'm you, I'll take that loss because I know I got a lot of good wins ahead of me with this quarterback. Whether
hell yeah,
maybe not this year, but in the seasons to come. So the last things I'll touch on the Steelers, I think they win, but um, both the running backs look a lot better. They look pretty good. Warren very efficient, 11 for 88. Najee 69 and a touchdown. Pickens is someone he's got to make that one grab. That's crazy. He didn't get that touchdown. He should have been able to drag the foot. I think maybe Devonta Smith's got to work with him a little bit on that. Jesus Christ. And Deontay Johnson looked phenomenal in my opinion. 7 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. I think that he has another big week this week versus this soft defense.
agreed. All right, next game we have is San Fran at Jacksonville. San Fran had a bye also at the right time of the season for them.
They needed it.
Yeah, they definitely needed it. This is going to be a game where
I think it's the game of the week.
it's
For me.
it's going to be a good one because you have Jacksonville that is actually they're a very solid team, and you're going into their house now.
Both teams off a bye.
Both teams off a bye, but the one thing that I will say is that Jacksonville still is a little inexperienced just because it's their first year with Dougie P.
Second.
I'm sorry, second year with Dougie P. But I still think that they have there's some kinks that still need to be worked out before that I start to look at them as being as that I don't know I don't know what the word that I'm trying to come up with
They haven't figured it out.
they don't have no
completely yet.
spunk. They don't have any although there's like
There's no jump forward.
yeah,
It's been lateral from last year.
I'll say it like this. Their defense isn't anything that I'm like scared of. I think that if any team faces them, that any team can go ahead and throw some points up on them. I think if we were to go ahead and say, okay, Houston versus Jacksonville, I'm taking Houston 1,000%. If we were to go ahead and say, obviously Pittsburgh, it's just Pittsburgh can get now. No, but this game,
I'm with you. Teams can hang with them.
right? Teams can hang with them. Jacksonville has a good offense. They have a good offense. They just need to go ahead and start working on their defense. San Fran has, like I said, they had that bye at the right time of the season. They have Debo back.
Right.
They have CMC that he's healthy.
Right.
They have essentially everybody else that's healthy. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Trent Williams is back too.
Okay.
So a lot of things are helping them out right now. Like I said, their defense is something that I still think is still a really good defense, even though a lot of people are saying that they're not obviously as good as they were last year. A lot of people or I've heard that Steve Wilkes is coming down from the booth and he's going to be actually coaching on the sideline this week.
Okay.
Really, how much of a difference does that make? I don't know. I
Uh,
mean,
I mean, it's a
you get
little
to
bit
be, I guess,
of player connection
yeah, I
there.
guess you get to be right in their faces and whatnot, but um,
Yeah,
I think when it comes to visibility, it's
just
probably
a
better that
change.
they're,
It's just a
yeah.
change.
Yeah. So I'm taking San Fran in this one solely. I think Purdy goes ahead and he's able to go ahead and do his thing against Jacksonville's defense. I don't think that they're able to go ahead and get to him like other reputable defenses are out there. But I also think that CMC, you can go ahead and book it. He's going to have another touchdown.
That's pretty much guaranteed right now
That's
if
a
he's
get that
playing.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
guarantee. I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to get eaten up alive from their linebackers, but I won't be surprised if it's a close game.
Yeah, so both teams coming off the bye. Good for both teams. I think you pretty much are hitting the nail on the head for me. With the Jacksonville, they just haven't taken the step forward we all thought. Not on the defense isn't any better than it was last year, and they have names. They have some good offense, with Walker and Allen there, but even with Ridley, you thought that the passing game was Lawrence just looked the same, and he might be who he is. I'm not sure yet. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I'm not sure if he's one of the elites, right? So that's my thing with them. And I know Dougie P is pretty good coming off the bye. That's a read tree thing. But on the other side, I I think that you called it, the bye at the right time, getting people healthy, and they lost 3 straight. I don't foresee them losing 4 straight. I just can't imagine Shanahan doing that. This team's way too good to do that. And Debo, that's something that's been missing there. It's another element. He makes the whole team better. Ayuk gets, not as keyed in on. So I think San Fran goes on the road after bye and wins this.
I agree. I agree. There was I think with this one we both knew like
Yeah, it's Jacksonville. I feel like it's a trap to take the upset. Maybe I'll be wrong. But I think that they're good enough where
this
people are
is
like,
where I can see people taking the upset is because of the recent week
San Fran.
with San
But I
Fran.
think Purdy.
And
I think you called everything correct. Personally, I'm with you 1,000. Purdy has a bounce back game from the last 3 weeks. Get things right off the bye. I think he's a much more IU guy, but I think Debo makes it possible.
yeah.
And you would think with all that talent that they'd be able to just get by without him. I think it shows how important he is.
So last game for the 1 o'clocks is Tennessee at Tampa. I'm gonna go ahead and get us another Surfside, but you go ahead and start us off since this is your boys.
Yeah, so Tennessee, baby, right? We didn't get the win last night, but I said we did find a franchise quarterback. I'm convinced. I think there's no doubt about it. I like him going forward. There might be some, rookie ups and downs that we see, but he's shown enough flashes for me, like the flash that I'm sorry, we just haven't seen from guys like Pickett, some of these young guys that just haven't panned out. Bryce Young hasn't showed it yet, but he has. Floating passes over the defender, the linebackers and safeties in between, defenders. It's a thing of beauty. You just know you see as the flick of the wrist, just in time, he's gonna be just I think a top 10 quarterback. Maybe I have some goggles on, maybe I don't. Who knows? Hopkins has certainly had an
Top
uptick.
10 quarterback of the year.
I said eventually.
Oh, oh.
Eventually I think he can be a top 10
I
quarterback.
thought I thought you were talking about the season. I'm sorry.
No, no, in the league, I think,
Okay.
he's the up and coming young guy. Um yeah, no, no, no. No, I'm not that love drunk. All right, but yeah, Hopkins. So we've seen an uptick from him, right? Finally, like we know he had more in the tank. He's still getting targets. 11 targets, 4 catches, 60 yards. Solid day for him. Kyle Phillips, I love him, man. Slot guy. He's coming alive. 4 catches, 68 yards. So he's becoming a little more reliable now with
Mm-hmm.
Levis.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like Henry, right? He's looking so much better. It's still like a 50-50 split with Spears, but now we're seeing that efficiency from him again. 17 carries, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns, or I'm sorry, 75 yards, 1 touchdown for him. I mean, and then 27 catches, 27 yards with catches. I mean, he's just looking a lot better. I think he's reaping the benefits from better quarterback play. Glad he's a starter now. Then on Tampa Bay side, right, they had a shootout. It was a fun, probably the game of the week actually. It was so who would have thought? It was a fun game. Cade Otton had a game of his life: 7 catches, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Evans did his thing. It's funny because Godwin had a very quiet game, but I think the guy I talked about was Rashad White. Rashad White had a great game: 73
Yeah.
yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches, 46 yards. His role is elite status. Great running back rest of the season fantasy football. If you can get him, he's someone that I like a lot. Unfortunately, I just think with Tennessee, I think they're still just gonna have some issues here, just some growing pains and whatnot, and they're gonna be on the road and they'll put up a good fight, but I think that ultimately Tampa Bay just wins with the veterans, they have there.
So with this game, honestly, I'm going back and forth mentally. When I think of positional players that, why did I say that like that? Like, I was that. um, when I think of the positional players that Tampa Bay has, obviously you can go running back, Tennessee. Derrick Henry is better than Rashad. Let's just
Right,
chalk it up
no
there,
brainer.
right?
Yeah,
I think we all can agree that right at this time in this era, right now, this day and age, we're picking Mike Evans over D Hop.
yeah, I don't know,
You know,
1,000%.
it could be one that you can argue, but
Down with you.
I think you're picking Mike Evans over D Hop.
Yep.
Um, and then with any secondary receiver that you guys have, they have Chris Godwin, so I think they're
Yeah.
can always you. I think with this game, I think it is yes that Tampa Bay wins it.
Hmm. Yep.
This is the reason why I say that there could be a potential that Tennessee comes out and pulls the dub out is because if Baker isn't consistent.
Yeah.
If Baker for some reason f's it up this week,
He had a hot game
um,
last week, so yeah, maybe we'll go last week.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only reason why I think that they lose this game. Um, I pray that doesn't happen. I believe I have Baker starting in one of my fantasy leagues. I just hope that, and honestly, with me starting him, it's because of the fact that I have Brock Purdy on my bench, and I'm like, I don't trust Brock Purdy right now.
Yeah.
I think Brock Purdy's been coming back down to earth. So, yeah, no, with this game, I think Tampa Bay wins it, but there's just a lot of good hope that you have when you're on your end with Tennessee. So, um, yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and crack some fresh boys for these 4 o'clock games and 8 o'clock and Monday nights. Cheers,
Cheers,
buddy.
buddy.
I love Surfsides. If we haven't said it enough, we love Surfside. So Stateside Vodka. I know I said last week. I said Surfside sponsor us. It's actually Stateside Vodka. Stateside Vodka. Please sponsor us.
We're gonna start tagging you every week.
We're nearby. We're in Delaware. You guys are in Philly.
Use us. Get the word out.
So we'd
Yeah.
love to get that sponsorship started. All right, let's go into our 4 o'clock games. Which there's always a 4 o'clock game where you're like, wait, how did this squeeze into the 4 o'clock?
Just don't want to even watch it.
Because 4 o'clock games are known as to be like those better games usually. Better teams, that just better games all around. Atlanta and Arizona.
Yeah.
Ugh. I remember earlier this year with my criticism towards Atlanta, and it was always because of the fact that I just couldn't stand Arthur Smith, and I couldn't stand the fact that they weren't utilizing, or
Bijan.
that I feel like that they weren't going to utilize Bijan, correctly. And then it got to a point where everybody's telling me like maybe you should give him like some slack. No, I'm back to not liking Arthur Smith. I'm back to despising Arthur Smith. This is a game of me despising both coaches more than anybody else in the league. You have Arthur Smith versus Jonathan Gannon. You essentially have two clowns on the field. If I had
Michael Scott versus Dwight Schrute.
the one thing that I think that helps Atlanta out, or not Atlanta, Arizona out, Kyler's coming back.
Sir.
Kyler's back. I think that changes things.
On fantasy.
You're actually the second person that I've heard that's done this. Um, I'm still trying to figure out how is it that he lasted that long on the waiver wire, and why did anybody drop him? Because one of the other players that I'm thinking about possibly picking up, if for any reason he comes back before the playoffs, Raj. If that man comes back before the playoffs, then there's a possibility I might go ahead and pick him up. But no. So going back to it, I mean, I can't believe that Kyler was on the waiver. I mean, that's wild.
I saw him sitting there. I had a slot or two. I was like, you know what? Let me put him on there before I have, you know.
Oh, sorry guys. We got a dog that's barking right now. Stop it. Stop it.
Before we heard any news, I just wanted to pick him up. So, I will see.
Take it over right now. I gotta go calm my dog down.
Yep. So let's check out the two teams here, Atlanta. So they moved on to Taylor Heineke last week, and it didn't go according to plan as I predicted. Lost to Josh Dobbs in a thriller to the Vikings. Arthur Smith continues to play sick games of spin the wheel on who's going to get touches at running back, and I guess Algier won last week. It's funny because he's getting all the green zone touches, all the meaningful touches, but still being out-snapped by Bijan, 61% last week. So just an annoying situation. I'm willing to say it sucks. You can't trust Arthur Smith, but there's no way come time to fantasy playoffs that Bijan isn't getting the rock, in my opinion. I think it's a nice buy low. I did that in one of my leagues this week. I'm willing to bet on that. Just talent.
Are you taking it? Or you're taking Atlanta?
So I'm not taking Atlanta this week.
I was gonna say I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say here.
For fantasy long
term. Yeah. No, for fantasy, I get that. But
yeah. So I'm saying buy low on it.
I'm taking Arizona this week.
No, I got
mainly because of Kyler.
I got Arizona. John Udo had a breakout week though. He had 100 yards.
I don't care.
Well, you know what? Some other people might.
The reason why? Because Kyle Pitts needs to be the one that gets that. Gets the rock.
Yards. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand why are they going ahead and relying on Jonnu when you have a talented wide receiver.
London was out
tight end,
so it was kind of surprising that Pitts didn't
tight end, but he really is like a wide receiver. It's Kyle Pitts.
Well, that's why those two work together, and I guess
whatever.
And I guess Jonnu just
doesn't work together when Pitts is like.
So then on the Arizona side, I have them winning because they're home. Kyler's back. I think no matter if he has to, there's some rust with him. I think that still it's an uptick for the receivers. They're all going to reap the benefits. Connor, if he's back this week or not, I'm not sure, but still reinforcements on the way. I just think Arizona finds a way to, bring new life and win.
Yeah. Looks like something good happened. Maybe not. Never mind.
They got the ball.
They got the ball back, yeah.
17-9, 4:53 left. We need a score, baby. Come on.
We need a score and a 2-point conversion.
Jeez. Okay, Detroit at the Chargers. This is another game I kind of like.
I like this game a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you right now. I want Detroit, or I got Detroit in this one.
I do as well.
I got Detroit in this one mainly because of defense, going back off of defense, going back off of just their. I trust them more than I trust, the Chargers. I trust them a lot more than freaking Staley as a head coach and making those calls and whatnot. So, no, I think Detroit has a lot of. This is like that year, man, where if you're a Detroit fan, you better go ahead and wear it loud and proud because y'all boys are looking good. And when that time comes, when C.J. Gardner Johnson comes back, that's going to go ahead and change things a lot for you. So yeah, no, I got Detroit taking this one up. What do you got going for us?
Yeah, I got Detroit as well. So they're coming off a bye. They got an ass whooping, right, by the Ravens. But I think it's a good, I think it's a good ass
The
whooping.
way you said it, they got an ass whooping.
I think it's a good one. It keeps them in the high gear. Dan Campbell's got him in shape now.
Dan Campbell was like, "Did y'all forget about those kneecaps I told y'all to eat?"
Y'all doing 1,000 push-ups a day now. But look, I called Coach of the Year. I still think he's going to win it. I think they're going to win the division. I think rightfully so.
If
He'll
he
win it.
wins the division and if they and obviously makes it to the playoffs, he's winning Coach of the Year. If he doesn't,
It's a crime.
yeah,
It's a crime.
we're going to the NFL office and picketing out there.
But like I said last week, so they added Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think they integrate him. It's like a kind of like a weird thing to predict, but I think he actually really helps the team a lot. I think he's talented and he helps them as
I
an outside
love that
receiver.
addition.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think he makes complete sense with him, Williams, and Reynolds at the outside. They got Monra who does the inside routes and whatnot in the slot. I just think they're prime. Montgomery going to be coming back, and now they know, okay, we got to get the ball to Gibbs too. So
Yeah.
I just think they have so much to throw at you.
Yeah.
And then this week, they're going to integrate all that. Chargers, very vulnerable run defense. And on the Chargers side, right, so they barely kind of got past the Jets. Even with all that defense, they had touchdown, which pissed me the F off because that defense pretty much beat me in a fantasy league this week. But that team's so blah. Like Quentin Johnson, someone I've been so disappointed with. Even with Williams out, Palmer's on IR. He ran 95% of routes. He had 14 yards to show for it. He might be a bust, man. They might have really just drafted a bust there. Keenan Allen's been doing his thing still. 9 targets, 8 catches, 77 yards.
Penn State's on.
Pick 6,
No.
fumble.
Joe Lawler just threw it in the middle of the field like an idiot, and then they got the ball back, and
Well, there goes my
first play, freaking scores a touchdown. There you go, Nasser.
Well, Eckler too.
Congratulations.
I'll touch on him. 2 touchdowns for him. So I just think they're an inconsistent team. I think they're very mediocre, and they get beat this week by a good Detroit team on the road.
Sorry, just
Yeah.
had to text.
Yeah.
All right, Giants at Dallas. I'm glad that we now I get to go ahead and talk shit on the Giants. Although I can't, I hate giving any credit to Dallas, but you know what? Call me bitter. I'm upset right now. Penn State's really getting their butt handed to right now by Michigan. So not a good look. Once again, James Franklin, you need to figure it out because I mean, either you need to figure out or Penn State needs to go ahead and eat up that contract that they gave you because they gave him a 10-year contract, 10-year extension. So yeah. All right. Anyways, so Giants at Cowboys or New York at Dallas. No, there is nothing that we have to say here. I know I made that comment earlier about that you can go ahead and toss all the stats out the door when it comes to divisional games. Not with this game. You got Tommy DeVito starting for freaking
Giants.
the Giants. You
Mom still makes that.
Yeah, like he still lives at home with his parents. I saw today.
Not that that means anything.
No, not that it means anything, but
passing games in dire straits.
they're not gonna do anything. I think if I'm not mistaken, there was I think the line is at 14 or 14 and a half. 1000% would take the Cowboys to beat them by 14 and a half. I think they beat them at least by I think it's like a 30 something to 7 or 30 something to 3 type game. I don't think the Giants are able to do anything or able to move the ball too much.
The Dallas defense.
It could be a shutout, to be honest with you.
They're too good. I mean, Tommy DeVito. I mean, I'm hoping he at least does a little.
And I hate that I have to freaking say that Dallas is going to win this game, but I'm going to go ahead and take a drink of this one.
DJ out for the year. If it was a brutal season so
Oh
far,
wow!
to
Look,
even
they just threw a pick. Great.
big, bigger, bigger, more brutal. Gets more brutal here. I mean, Barkley's the only guy to note. He's still just kind of getting his over 100 all-purpose yards, so he's someone that's still fantasy relevant. Dallas,
Of
though,
course.
this is a good game for them after a tough loss, right, versus the Eagles here. Kind of no, I mean, I know you know, but it's just the truth. I mean, they're
After a
getting
tough loss.
they're getting
Come on, Bags.
you guys, you they almost had. I mean, they were a score away.
Whatever.
Get your fucking goggles off. Uh, yeah. So they good game for them. I think Pollard can get on track this game. I think Lamb tore it up last week. Um, Pollard, good game for him. Lamb continues his hot streak. They did sign Martavius Bryant, which is kind of like laughable. It's kind of funny. I, I, I don't know. He's 31, man. Come on. We've seen this story before, but yeah, they're gonna win this. Defense is too good. I'm sorry, Tommy. I hope I'm wrong, but Dallas gonna wash you.
Yep. All right. So we got Washington at Seattle.
Yep.
Another not a,
Well, Seattle hasn't been the team we've been hoping.
yeah. Seattle hasn't been the team that we've been hoping for, but they continue to still try to figure it out. They're not like the best team in the world. I don't know. Like they've had some losses where we're like questioning like what the hell's going on over there.
I mean, we expected Baltimore to win, but to lose 37-3 with that talent.
That's where I'm just like, why wasn't there
Gino's re-
like much of a
Gino's really taking a step back, man.
yeah
He ain't the
yeah.
same guy. I
I,
still
I,
have
I
a,
can't I can't I can't pick Washington in this one just because I don't trust
I still
Ron
have,
Rivera to go ahead and travel to watch or to
I still
Seattle.
have Seattle too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um I don't have I just don't think that he has the mental fortitude to go ahead and get through.
They're one of those teams that are different at home. When they're away in their home,
Yeah.
they play a little bit different. I think Gino rides the crowd a little bit here. Um,
I
this
agree
week,
with you on that one.
yeah,
And one of the things that I want to see more of is that they need to incorporate um K Dub a little bit more often instead of having Charbonnet like in there because that was something that was like frustrating me a lot last week. And also, I get that um they have some receivers, but if they're not going to be competing to get into the playoffs, throw JSN in there
yeah.
because at this rate,
He's too good, man.
you're just
He's too
wasting
good.
talent that's just sitting on your
He's
bench.
another JJ in my opinion. In my opinion, I just think he just has everything. He can bring everything to. I mean, that's the thing about it, right? So last week, dude, 13 passes completed for Gino. Bar, like, bro, you have three very. Dude, those receivers are too good. Come on, I know Baltimore's a
Like I did
good
not know
defense,
that.
but
That was
like
bad.
you gotta score. You gotta score more than 3 points, in my opinion. Yes, you're right. Walker, I think a lot of it was because he was a little banged up coming into this, and then they just went down early so much they probably just what, F it, threw the ball to Charbonnet, let him run these routes. Yeah. I hear you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I have Walker too. He's the reason why I lost, but I think we're gonna see more of him this week, right? And then on the Washington side, so they had kind of like a little shootout. Patriots. It was kind of funny. Dotson's come alive finally, right?
Yeah.
69 yards and a touchdown. He's back, baby, and I love it because I got him in fantasy. McLaurin had a solid day with 73 yards. Logan Thomas continues to be kind of like a decent little tight end streamer week to week. Um, and then Robinson, he looked great. 18 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Gibson's clearly the receiving back when they're down. 5 grabs, 42 yards. Seattle wins this though. Home bounce back win.
Yep. Next game we have Jets at Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas is looking good now with Antonio Pierce at the helm. They look a lot happier, a lot more free, just like we were talking about the Sixers
Yeah.
in our NBA segment that we had.
Culture.
It's all about culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that actually I like that Antonio Pierce said is, or that somebody noticed, is that he has all of his practice players on the field. like
Yep, on the
warming up,
sideline. Yep.
on the sideline as well. And he's like, just like in high school and college, he was like, oh, you got all your players on the sideline. Why not in
Whether
the
you're
NFL?
playing or not.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think that was something big. I think that like it boosts like confidence,
Morale. Yeah.
morale.
Yeah.
You know, helps these players be able to like have that confidence that they can actually go ahead and compete in this league. So, um, with this game is I think it's actually going to be a better game than what we all think because the Jets. I still don't trust Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is horrible. Zach Wilson is just not a starting quarterback in the league. He's another one that I think is just a backup. I would choose him, unfortunately, over freaking Jordan Love, but that's just mainly because of the fact that I've seen enough of Jordan Love where I just don't know that he can even like. I don't know. Maybe actually with them two, I would probably have to flip a coin.
It's
I'd have to
close. Yeah.
flip a coin with them too.
I didn't. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to this game, I mean, with the Jets in Vegas, I think Vegas goes ahead and takes this one. Once again, just riding off of that morale, riding off of that high from having the new coach. They're at home. They're. I think that stadium's gonna be loud. Because after that win last week, that they're gonna have a lot of supporters out there.
Yep.
Um, so I think it's gonna be something that it's gonna boost that team. It's gonna help them go ahead and carry out a win. Um, Goodness, this game is just bad.
Gotta get over it. You guys are right in striking distance.
Yeah, but it's too.
You got one timeout. If they can score quick, they got a 2-minute warning.
And there we go.
So, yeah, I agree with a lot we were saying with Vegas.
False start. Great.
Antonio Pierce has brought some life back.
Yeah.
Right, this team. I'm not saying they're gonna be contending for the playoffs or anything like that, but it's at least a culture shift, which is almost like the most important thing when building something in football
Mm-hmm.
or all.
Mm-hmm.
You had a great call last week. Jacobs had 2 touchdowns in the game, and you called that 98 yards on 26 carries.
Unfortunately, I didn't bet it, but shut up.
But I've been saying it all season. He's so vital to them winning games, and it proved it right there. Right, he needs to be involved. He needs the ball in his hands. So I think this is another boom potential game for him. I think he can have a big week. And I have them getting the W just because of where they're at. And on the other side with the Jets, right? Like, they just lost again. I just think that they're kind of like fooling themselves. I'm sorry. They're not going to make the playoffs. Rodgers ain't coming back. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. If you're a Jets fan, let me just be a realist for you. It is not happening. Zach Wilson sucks. That's all I'm. He can't. He can't hit those easy throws like at all. You have Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson has 13 freaking targets again, only 7 catches and 80 yards. I mean, that's still a good game, but like you throw a mediocre quarterback in there, and that's probably 120 yards right there
Mm-hmm.
and a touchdown. Costly fumbles, costly turnovers. This team just gave they were they were in it, and they just kept giving it to the Chargers. Just kept giving it to them. Their defense did what they could. I mean,
Touchdown.
I feel bad for their defense. Conklin continues to be a little reliable guy too. 66 yards on 6 catches, 6 targets. Brees Hall didn't have his best day. 16 carries, 50 yards. But I still like him rest of the season. I think this could be a good game for him as well. But they're not good enough. I think Las Vegas still just kind of gets done. There's their pure talent over them.
What the heck is going on here? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing?
Good as ran it. They got it. Penalty. Last game of the slate, correct? It is.
Yeah, last game of the slate.
Denver at Buffalo. This is an easy one here. Don't gotta talk too much about it.
Buffalo by a million.
Buffalo.
Denver sucks.
It's gonna be a bounce back win. Denver's coming off a bye, but it don't mean shit to me. Jerry Jeudy didn't get traded, which I think was a mistake. I don't know. I would have just traded him for whatever you get, in my opinion, just because I think he's kind of like a dude. He doesn't blend with that culture, that cancer. He's a cancer to the locker room right now. I think that they made a mistake not getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, the only person to watch, in my opinion. I think he's getting healthier and healthier coming off a bye now. He'll probably look the best he's looked all season. If they want to be competitive, they'll need to feed him the rock. And then Buffalo side, so they had another tough loss to the Bengals. The Bengals have their number. They just can't beat the Bengals right now, no matter what, even with a banged up receiving core. I kind of think that I like McDermott a lot, but I think they might need a change of regime, in my opinion. I think they were a little bit stale. I just think they're stale. They need a new Dorsey and Cutting as the OC. They need new faces in there. I think to help Allen and company get people happy here. They need new juice here. Diggs still having. I mean, he's having a great season. Don't get me wrong. 6 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. My boy Dalton Kincaid. I'll touch on him even more. But 10 catches, 81 yards. He is coming alive with his
Hell
injury
yeah.
to
I'm
Knox.
loving it.
And then also someone I really like is Khalil Shakir. He's become a nice little option. 73% of routes. A little slot guy now. 57 yards this game. He's solidified himself there. The running back situation is really murky, man. James Cook has not looked great. I'm curious to see if Fournette now he's been with the team a little bit, if he starts getting the rock. And that's something to monitor.
Still waiting to go ahead and see them actually. I don't know. Because
They just don't look too legit, man.
It shows in fantasy that Leonard still is a free agent. So I don't know.
He's on the practice squad. I think they had to elevate him.
That's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see. So before we move on, I want James Franklin fired. He there was a 2-point conversion they just went for, and his reaction to them not making it, he's like,
we got defense. You're still down by 2 scores.
exactly. Yeah. There's no way we're winning this game with a minute 53 left. So
I don't know, brother.
This is the life of being a Penn State fan. Screw James Franklin. All right, let's move on to the betting segment. All right, boys and girls. So, got some good ones here for you. I'm also going to go ahead and give you what their lines are at this moment right now. So it may change a little bit on Sunday when this releases, but this is what these lines are for the specific players for these prop bets. So we're gonna start off. I got Michael Pittman versus the Patriots. This is at a plus 165. I think Michael Pittman just gets, he's like their security blanket, gets a touchdown. Yeah, I don't think there's much to say about that one.
J.C. Jackson didn't travel to Germany. That's a great pick.
Yeah. An obvious one: CMC versus the Jags. This is at minus 190.
Gotta take that Philly up. Yep.
Until he's like dead. I think when he's even retired, you're like, you guys still put money on him to have a touchdown. He's gonna come in there after he's retired and be like, I'm gonna get a touchdown. I got you.
It's like the what is it? The Space Jam. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
And he comes out of nowhere, and you guys are like, oh my god,
Who's that?
So no, CMC versus Jags minus 190. By the way, these bets are only for the 1:00 games. I have Tank Dell versus Cincinnati plus 180. Because of Nico being out, I think Tank Dell is going to have a lot of love coming his way. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good one for him. Another one, because of the fact that this man had 2 touchdowns versus his team earlier this season, Mark Andrews versus Cleveland. Back at home, Mark Andrews is bound to go ahead and have himself a game. So go ahead and have him on that line to go ahead and have a touchdown for this game. The next one I have is Alvin Kamara versus Minnesota. Alvin Kamara is becoming that guaranteed touchdown, almost like a CMC now. Ever since he's been back, he's been having a touchdown almost every single game. He's been doing pretty well over there, so things are starting to work out for them. This is at plus 110. I believe I did not tell you guys actually the Tank Dell and Mark Andrews. Tank Dell was at plus 180. Mark Andrews is at plus 185. This next one I have is a far shot, but you can go with either or of the running back. So I picked Jalen Warren versus Green Bay at plus 170. Now, what's funny is that Vegas has both Jalen Warren and Najee with the same line at plus 170. So essentially, they're agreeing as well. Either or,
Doesn't matter who gets it.
yeah, is going to go ahead and have a
Or
touchdown
both.
at or both.
Right.
Yeah, or both. I just think that Jalen Warren is more of that like guaranteed guy to go ahead and get the ball when they're in the running in the red zone. He's been a little bit more
The go-to.
shifty
Yeah.
when they get into the red zone. So,
Yeah.
um, and then my last one, oh, and then Jalen Warren is plus 170. And then my last one that I have is Mike Evans versus Tennessee at plus 170.
You bastard.
Mike Evans
Good
is another
call.
one that I think like receiver wise, once again, if we're talking about like a receiver that has consistency in fantasy, it's Mike Evans. It's either going to be consistency with his catches or just consistency with the touchdowns that he has. I
Yep.
think that he gets one against Tennessee this week. Against honestly a weak Tennessee defense, unfortunately, but I think he does well.
See no lies.
I think he does well. So if you are to put this bet together, this would be if you were to put $10 on this ticket, it would equal out to 49.41, so $4,941.28. There also is a 50% profit boost on same game parlays on DraftKings. So feel free to check out those profit boosts either on DraftKings or FanDuel. So yeah, we will now toss it over to our man Dags for the fantasy segment.
Fantasy segment coming up here. Got some nuggets for you guys here, and I've touched on some of the guys I'm gonna be talking about. So number one I have is my main man. I've been riding this for 10 weeks. Dalton Kincaid. 2 games without knocks. Averaged just about 16 and a half fantasy football points per game. Huge. 91% of routes run on the team. Huge. 25% target share. That's elite numbers for anyone, let alone a tight end. He's here to stay. Even when Knox comes back, they can't they can't split it up the way
Yeah,
they did
they
before.
can't go away from it.
Kincaid's too good. He's looking like a mini Kelsey to me, so I love him. Number two for me is Deontay Johnson. Since returning from injury, he has a 31% target share. That's a team high. Top 10, or I'm sorry, top 15 receiver efficiency, and the fifth easiest remaining schedule going forward. So prime for a big second half year. I think if you want to maybe look for him for a trade, go ahead and do so. And number three, I have Jerome Ford. I was touching on him. Now that he's healthy, in week 9, he had 27 total touches. That's the season high.
Yeah.
63% of snaps, season high. 55% of the rush attempts, season high. His fantasy football matchups in the playoffs. So thinking ahead, the Bears and the Texans. Phenomenal matchups. Great late season push type of guy. I think he's another buy. And then my last thing I have for you is I got my top 3 starts for running backs and receivers here. So number one, no order. Number one, I got Tony Pollard versus the Giants. I just think he's primed to have a great day versus that defense. Brees Hall versus the Vegas Raiders. I talked about that. I think he's bound for a bounce back week. And Jonathan Taylor in Germany versus New England. I just think that defense is very vulnerable. I think he has a big day. Evans is my number one guy versus receivers. So you talked about him. She's just in time for the fantasy nuggets. Yep. So yeah, Godwin Evans versus Tennessee. You called it a touchdown. I hate to say it, but it's a great matchup for the boys.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown versus the Chargers. I think off the bye, he's gonna rip it up again for another 100-yard day. And then Drake London. I think off missing the game with an injury. Arizona very, very weak defense. they kind of he's gonna lean on him
Yeah.
after a loss, and he has a big day coming back here. So those are the 4 things I have for you. I put a post out last week, an hour before kickoff. So if you have any fantasy questions going forward, DM us, DM me. Stardoms, situms, waiver move, whatever. I look into this stuff very heavily, so
Yep.
I'm happy to help any way I can.
Yep.
Just want to throw that out there.
And let's give a shout out to my wife. Come here, love. Okay, I guess she doesn't want to go up. Now she's coming out. She's showing her face. Oh my gosh. She's in. No, come over here. Say hi in the mic. Some of the people that aren't watching the video probably can't hear you, so you gotta say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Why are you so shy?
She came home just for my segment.
She came home just for Deggs' fantasy segment. That's it.
For her fantasy team.
Yep.
That you're managing.
Correct. He manages 4 of mine.
There are hers, actually. Yep.
She's gonna join us for an episode one of these weeks.
She
So
has
more
an assignment still that
more-
she's yet to do.
Yeah, more to come on that one. But now that's good week. It's gonna be a good week. Very exciting week. There's some good games, some blood games. But if anybody hits on any bets,
Yeah, throw it our way. We'll give you a little shout out.
yeah, I would love to highlight any
winnings?
bets that hits this past week.
Yep.
But outside of that, Surfside, per usual, sponsor us. I'm not going to say this over and over again, or I am going to say this over and over again until you sponsor us. So, but if anybody, what do we do every single time? If you ain't doing anything, go ahead and crack a cold one. Cheers, buddy.